streets of Cincinnati, welcome to the jungle! Let's go. Stripes, 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 yeah, stripes, 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 yeah. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who day we ignite in stripes. Cincinnati, we gon' rise in in the jungle, we unite in dripping orange and black and white. Who day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Wake up the beast, every game day is a feast. Time to bust it off the leash. In the jungle, dripping heat. Tigers strike the city streets. East side, stand up. West side, stand up. If you reppin', who day? Time to put your hands up. Bingle stripes, we in it. New day, new age, yeah, we get it. Cincinnati, jungle fitted. Who day in our house, we win it. Orange and black and white, we build it. Earn our stripes, you know we kill it. Bleed our colors, jungle dripping. Nasty, natty, yeah, we lit it. Lit the crowd, get the city loud. Yeah, we feasting now. Fit the bounce, make the city howl. Now we beastin' now. Thunder through the tunnel, from the sideline to the huddle. Stripes we tatted on the jungle when we flex that who they muscle on them. Stripes, Cincinnati, we gon' rise in in the jungle, we unite in dripping orange and black and white. All day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Stripes. Now who wanna move crossing on? Stripes. Now who wanna move on? If you got stripes and you let the city know you rock them, yeah we got them, yeah we fought them. Like that black and orange on bottle, bingo bottle, never stop it till the beast of beast and know who they rockin' with the diamond stripes. Flossing on the ring, Cincinnati, she's our queen. We gon' show the world who king. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who day we ignite in Cincinnati, we gon' rise in the jungle, we unite in dripping orange and black and white. Who day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Now who wanna move crossing on? Now who wanna move on? Who day when we fight, live and die in these stripes.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, the Iceman, Jeff Trunapole. And as always, I'll bring you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio, home of Jackpot Joey Burrow and the AFC North champion Cincinnati Bengals, who, by the way, in my opinion, I think right now have a better owner than the Cincinnati Reds. Just saying. Now, do me a favor. If you found the show, hit that like and subscribe button. Smash that thumbs up. You guys are awesome. This has been an unbelievable week. I'm at 1,570 subscribers. Like literally last Friday, I was at 1,545. I'm at 1,570 and a little over a week. That is awesome. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Now, if you're watching and you're not watching on YouTube and you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, do me a favor. Go to the YouTube channel, Sports with Strawberry Ice. Hit the subscription button, hit the bell for notification. And every time I go live, you'll be notified. Also, exclusively in the YouTube chat crew, we're doing super chats. So if you'd like to support what I'm doing, or you want to make sure your question or comment that you have for Bengals fans or myself gets read, give me a super chat. I would greatly appreciate it. And as always, I'm coming to you live from the Ice Cave. And the Ice Cave is brought to you by T Properties. T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out their website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. What's up to everybody in the chat? I got Guzman. Wow, that's a weird name. Simpa Strong, I think it is. I'm sorry, Joe. What's going on? William House, Richard, strangers in there. And yeah, we got the usual subjects. I'm glad you guys are all there. I see we already got some questions about T. Higgins and all that stuff, and some questions about the Reds and Bengals ownership. Let's get to all that here in a minute. I'll bring in Mike Santangela, Bengal Sands on Twitter. He's a great follow. Go check him out. He writes for all Bengals, and he's on Locked on Bengals at least once a week now, I think. Here's Sands. Sands, what's going on, brother?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. Good, man. Just trying to do a podcast here in the nice rainy day here in Cincinnati, Ohio, as we kicked off baseball season. Yesterday we had opening day and all the stuff going on, and Phil Castellini couldn't have ruined it any more than I think he could have. I mean, he actually made Mike, not that Mike Brown's a bad owner, but for all the years that Mike Brown went through all the stuff in the 90s and everything, he never one time came out and said anything like Phil Castellini said the other day. But Phil Castellini came out and pretty much gave, in my opinion, the middle finger to the fan base. And I thought that was kind of an interesting way to start the season. And I'm a little upset about it. But other than that, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. I don't really follow baseball very much, so I don't have to deal with this.
There you go. There you go. All right. So yesterday, again, with the Bengals at the Reds opening day, Jackpot Joey Burrow 3D opening day pitch out, and people saw T. Higgins in the sling. And I've reached out to a couple of different people, and pretty much from what I've heard is it was from his injury that he injured in the Chicago Bears game. He had to get it cleaned up, and he should be back on the mend. Is there any other information you know about it other than that?
No, he was spotted in that sling a while ago, but it got deleted. And I actually had that same injury just from playing pickup basketball like 4 years ago. And yeah, you could do everything with a torn labrum. Like that's why he's able to play. I mean, it's painful sometimes, and sometimes it could pop out of place, but you're perfectly fine. Same with Logan Wilson had the same injury, I believe, and it's also one Baker Mayfield had. So pretty common. And yeah, you could do everything. It's about a 3-4 month recovery from what I remember. Somebody could fact check that, but it's not like an ACL or an Achilles injury. He should be fine at the start of the season, even though he got the surgery so late because of the Super Bowl. And yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about it.
Yeah, from the person I reached out to said, yeah, he'd be good to go by the time the season rolls around. But you know, he had this thing called a Super Bowl he had to play in, so yeah, it took a little longer to get the surgery done. So I think we'll give him a pass on that. But we got the draft here less than 2.5 weeks. It's starting to get closer. And I know we've talked about this ad nauseum. But to me, it's coming down to three guys that sounds like one of the three most likely will be there at 31. You got Tyler Linderbaum. You got Elam and Booth from Florida and Clemson. I guess the question is, if let's just say it's probably not going to happen, but just say all three of them are there. Which one would you take if all three of them were there? And we're talking best player available, and these are the three guys that I keep hearing the most. If those three are there, which one are you taking, and why?
Me, I think I'd go. I've thought about this for a while, but I think I'd go Linderbaum just because I have the highest grade on him, and part of me thinks just take the guy that you think has a good chance to become a Pro Bowl, All-Pro type player. And even though whatever positional value, whatever you think about all of that, there have been studies done that show that cornerback, A, very hit and miss in the draft in the first round, and B, a lot of times you're not getting a real good value on. You get value, but you're not getting the same value you get at some other positions just because cornerback market itself isn't super inflated. You see
Right.
JC Jackson, one of the best cornerbacks in the league. If he was an offensive tackle, he gets 25 million. He's a corner, he gets 18. So that you could buy corners still without it being too much money. And as much as I like those two, and if Linderbaum isn't there, then those are immediately who I'm looking to. And if neither one of them's there, then that becomes an issue. But I think one of them will be there. I think 75% chance or so, maybe, that at least one of these three will be there. I don't think all three will be there, but
No.
Always nice to have the three options rather than being forced into one of them. So you take your favorite, but I think all three are great. I'd take Linderbaum.
Yeah, I mean, it might be just one of them is there, and it might turn out none of them are there. So I guess that comes to another point. What if none of them are there? If none of them are there, you got the kid Petrie from Baylor, who I think's a pretty good one, who could also play safety and corner. But I don't know if he's a first round grade or not. What do you think they do there, or would they just trade back?
You always try. I think you'd always try to trade back in that scenario, but sometimes teams don't really care about. Sometimes teams just aren't interested in trading with you for whatever reason. Maybe they don't really have any prospect that they're looking at, even if there's some quarterback there, whether it's Desmond Ritter or whoever else. There's usually a reason they fell because that team wasn't that interested in the first round. So, yeah, there's. I don't know. You try to trade back. If that doesn't work out, I think he'll still be a defender, but if somebody like Kenyon Green or Zion Johnson falls, which I don't think Zion falls, Kenyon Green could because he didn't test like an elite athlete. He just tested like a pretty good athlete.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he could fall, and then maybe you take him. There was that mock where George Karlaftis fell all the way to 31. You take him, but if neither of them are there either, then you have to end up looking at some of your tier 2, tier 3 type guys. Maybe that's Jalen Petrie. I haven't watched him to really have much opinion, or Daxton Hill and Lewis Cine and Jaquan Brisker, all those safeties. You could take one of them. I just watched Logan Hall. He's good, but I don't think he's round 1. I think he's round 2, but you might have to reach because he fits a need. There's nobody you want. That's a BPA type situation. So I don't know. And Travis Jones, probably the same situation there. He's another defensive tackle. I haven't watched him yet, but he'll probably be just outside of what you want as like a BPA, but he fits a need. And you kind of just have to bite the bullet if all your guys from the tier 1 and maybe the tier 2 are gone.
Right, exactly. And then one thing you brought up too is that cornerbacks, if you draft them in the first round, haven't always lived up to that. I mean, the Bengals last 2 times, you got Dre Kirkpatrick, say what you want about him. He was an okay cornerback. He was an elite cornerback. And then you had, oh my goodness, I forget his name, the kid from Michigan State that we drafted, the cornerback there that didn't play very much. I cannot remember him. It was a couple years later they drafted him. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. Anyway, those 2 guys that they drafted in the first round in the last couple years, like back when we were going to 5 straight playoffs, and neither one of those guys panned out as top quality cornerback. So that's where I'm kind of with you on the cornerback situation. And for me, as a Bearcat fan, I'm a big Kobe Bryant fan. I've asked everybody that comes on the show that are studying the draft and everything, where do you have Kobe at on this draft? I mean, I think if you get him in the 3rd round, I think it's a steal.
Yeah, I haven't looked, but
Dark Horse Bernard, that's his name.
Yeah,
I couldn't remember his name. Okay.
I haven't watched Kobe. I was planning on watching him and Sanders at some point. I guess I'll watch Sauce too, but probably not too much, just because I'm like, yeah, no chance he falls.
No, yeah, he might be going to top 5, man.
Yeah, so I haven't watched him. I hear round 3, round 4 is probably fine, and to me, that's fine. I think round 3 is maybe a sweet spot for a tight end if you don't want to get one of the guys at round 2. So you'll probably have a pick your litter of a bunch of pretty talented guys that maybe aren't the Greg Dulcich or the Trey McBride, but pretty good guys. So yeah, I think round 3, round 4 sounds fine to me. I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah, I'm just a big Kobe Bryant fan, so that's where I'm at on that. Bill Jordan here says, Mike, do any of the safeties, Hill, Brisker, Kine, maybe even Petrie, possess the traits to play post safety? If so, who and why not them at 31? Why not them at 31?
I've watched one game of Petrie, and I think if you're imaginative, maybe you could see it. He was used a lot in the slot and on tight ends, which is useful, but that's what they also brought Trey Flowers in
Right.
for. So I don't think I don't know. That one's a little bit of a projection. I haven't watched Scene yet, but I watched one. And I haven't watched Hill either. So Brisker, I have watched 2 games.
The thing is, we're all getting off to a late start. The season was so long, so we haven't been able to watch as much stuff as we normally do.
Yeah, I don't do full-time draft. I just started after the season, and honestly, after free agency too. For this season, I didn't even get a head start because it was right in, I think, a week or 2 weeks after the draft, like free agency basically started. So Brisker, I think I think Brisker would be at his best playing half the field or playing quarters, that type of thing with the Bengals do. And once in a while playing post safety in like a single high system. I think he could do it. I think he's not the super athlete some people look for, but I think he plays a lot of heart. He has good ball skills. He can track the ball in the air well. He breaks up passes. I've seen him roam sideline to sideline as a post safety. So there's a lot of stuff in there that I think translates to him playing some post safety. But I do think you'll have to you won't be able to rely on him the same way you can Jesse Bates, and especially maybe later in his career, but definitely not early on.
Right. Now he gives us Michael Ruffin here. He said, "Who is your favorite tight end?" You did mention tight ends there. Who would you like in the draft?
Greg Dulcich is my favorite. I think he's the one that actually looks like an elite athlete on the field out of the guys I've watched, and awesome run after the catch ability. He had this play against LSU where once he gets drafted, that's gonna be the first play that is gonna air. It's gonna be him juking out one guy, running over another, and getting into the end zone from like 60 yards away. So he's awesome. I think he's got run after catch, hands. He's not the greatest blocker right now. I think he has to put on probably 10, 15 pounds to really be a good inline blocker, but I kind of think Hayden Hurst isn't the best blocker either.
Right.
So he kind of fits. If they want a guy to replace Hayden Hurst eventually, I think this guy could do it and be better. So that's what I look at.
That's what we got Drew Champa for, Mike. He's the blocker.
Yeah, hopefully he sticks around for cheap. He gets to just be a blocker, maybe a fullback on some plays. But yeah, if you're looking for a blocking tight end, Dulcich probably not the guy you're looking for. But I don't think very many of the tight ends I've watched are good blockers. I haven't watched a guy people say is the best one in Cade Otton, so I'll get around to that one. But a lot of them, I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's okay. There's not a Rob Gronkowski or George Kittle in this draft to me, where you get a guy that's basically an extra offensive lineman along with being an awesome receiver.
All right. Guzman here says there's good value for defensive line in Delonte Wyatt, Trayvon Walker. Anytime you can pluck a D lineman from Georgia, monster D line is an upgrade. In my opinion, there's no way. I would love to get Wyatt. There's no way he's going to be there. I mean, I don't think I would. Doing what Joe Goodberry says not to do. There's no way that guy's going to be there. I don't think he's going to. I think they're going to be gone before they get to 31. Both those guys. I would love to get either Walker or Wyatt. That would be awesome. But the chances of them being here, if they are, I'm taking one of them for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, the same thing I said about Sauce Gardner. I'm just not watching those guys because they're not following. I mean, Trayvon Walker is starting to get rumored that he might go 1 overall. So he's not going to be there at 31. So, wow. And Davis too, throw him in there. The big nose tackle that tested like a freak. He's not going to be there, but I'd love him. Yeah, would love Wyatt. The only reason he could fall is because he's older, but I don't see it happening. I think people are going to really value it.
Now, I have a question. I want to get back to the three guys that said at the beginning of it. And Elam is the one that I get the most difference of opinion on him as far as his ball skills, his cover ability, and the penalties. He got a lot of penalties in college this past year. Where are you at on Elam? Is he you have? I think you have as a first round a grade, but is he potentially? Is the potential there to fix his problems, you think, that he has?
Yeah, and I like Elam more than I like Booth, which I think is not what everybody thinks. I think
it goes. I've had people here like Elam. I've had people like Booth. Like I said, it's very. But Elam is the one that people are like, yeah, get him, or no, that dude's trash. He should be in a third round or something. It's you either like him or you don't.
Yeah, I really like him, and I think it's fixable because I think a lot of times he grabs guys. It's almost unnecessary. It's just not like a panic thing, but just he likes to play physical. And sometimes these guys break, they start getting away, and he already has his hand on them. And instead of letting him go, he ends up grabbing on, getting a little bit of jersey or something. Or sometimes he, like I said, he plays physical. Wide receiver pushes, he kind of pulls. And the officials, they don't see that as an equal reaction. They think wide receiver pushes, that's okay. Cornerback pulls, pass interference. So that stuff happens. I think it's fixable. I think a lot of these Florida cornerbacks have had this issue, and some of them it's fixed. Joe Hayden, some of it's not fixed. Try to think of CJ Henderson. He got traded for nothing. He was a second round pick, but I think Elam's better than him. I don't know if he's better than Hayden, but I think he's better than Henderson. And he's got the athleticism that tested too, so you don't have to question it. And I think he's just a good corner. He does a lot of good stuff in press. He had a very difficult role at Florida that should translate to the NFL, playing a lot of different coverages, man, zone, match, all this type of stuff. So I think he translates very well to the NFL, and that's my guy. I think it's fixable. I think most of his issues are fixable, so I'm into him getting picked. But I think Booth is in the same tier. I love Booth too. Not going to say
I don't think you can go wrong with either one of them. I think, and like you said, it's crapshoot when it comes to cornerbacks anyway. And honestly, if an offensive lineman or a defense lineman is not there, I'm 99% sure they're going to go a cornerback or it could be a safety, but I don't know. I mean, there's only one safety I think in this draft that's really worth a grade of a first round, and that's a kid out of Notre Dame, and I don't think he's going to be there at 31. Is there any other safeties that you might want to grab at 31 if that's an option?
Just a lot of the guys that were mentioned earlier, Petrie, Hill, Brisker, they're probably reaches at that point, but at the same time, if that's the best you've got on your board, that's the best you've got on your board. And if nobody's going to trade down and help you out and get some extra value with it, then it's kind of got to deal with it. I don't know if they're worth it at 31, but that's the issue with picking 31 is that 30 teams chose the person before you.
Exactly. Now, William House here has a question. He said, would you trade up for Linderbaum? Bong.
I think the last team I'm really that worried about taking Linderbaum would be the Titans at 26. So if you really, really love him, and I do, but I don't know if I would trade up personally, but I'm not opposed to trading up to 25 and just jumping them. Mm-hmm. Now, maybe you get jumped at 29, 30. The Chiefs have back-to-back picks. Or if somebody trades down and they look like a prime team that could use a Tyler Linderbaum, like, I don't know, maybe the 49ers or something. I don't know. They don't have a first round pick anyway. So
yeah, they traded them all away for the quarterback.
Yeah. So the one that didn't play.
Right.
But if a team that you think might take him ends up in front of you, maybe you, I don't know, skip the skipper and, you jump them.
Right.
But personally, I don't think there's a lot of scenarios where you trade up to get him. I think you wait. And if he falls past Tennessee, you can start writing it in. Don't write it in Sharpie because somebody can still jump you, but start writing his name in pencil and ready to turn the card in.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't think the Bengals are they're with what the moves that they did in the offseason with the offensive line, with La'el Collins, with Kapka, with Karras. I don't think they're as, oh my God, we have to go get this guy. If he falls to him, I think they'll take him. But I don't really necessarily see them jumping up because I still think they believe in Jackson Carman, and I am with them. I'm not opposed to Jackson Carman being our left guard and being either him or Deontay Smith fighting out for the left guard spot next year. I'm not opposed to that because that's only one spot. That's and you're not trying to fill it in with a rookie. You got two second-year guys battling it out, and you hope that they take the leap that Logan Wilson, took. That a lot of guys take in their second year. If they're going to be good players, they usually make that leap in the second year. And that's what I know we're hoping, and the Bengals are hoping with Jackson Carman, regardless if they draft Linderbaum or not. You want those guys to make that leap to get better.
Yeah, and I mean, Jackson Carman came in pretty raw, wide hands, didn't have great footwork, a lot of issues, and they didn't really look fixed his first year. And look, the team trajectory is kind of what sucks for Carman. If this team was middle of the road, you probably just slot him in to start again next year. But since he's not, since this team is not middle of the road or just barely contending for a playoff spot, they just went to a Super Bowl. You kind of can't just bank on Jackson Carman improving. And maybe some people are saying like, well, yeah, but what if Deontay Smith improves? And I agree, he could improve too. But it's just you can't bank on these rookies just getting better. And if they get better and they knock somebody out of the starting lineup, they do that. But you want to have 5 at least decent players in there. And I wouldn't say anybody that was playing in those spots this past year was really decent. Below average is probably the nice way to say what they did.
I mean, like I said, my guy is Linderbaum. If they get him, I want him. I mean, I want him on this because that would give us, in my book, 5 studs. You easily move Ted Karras over to left guard, which he actually plays better at left guard than he does center. So that move right there, I think, improves your line. And Linderbaum is, and I think there's a chance that there's a good chance he could drop because he's only a center, because he's only skiing. He's really good in zone blocking schemes, which is not everybody does zone blocking schemes like the Bengals do. So he's a perfect fit for the Bengals, but there's other teams that do the zone blocking and everything too. But some people don't want to spend a first round pick on a guy who's only a center. But in my opinion, if he's only a center and he's only an all pro center, then sign me up. I'm good with that. I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, where would Jason Kelsey go in a redraft? Probably top 10. So if he was in this draft and you knew he was Jason Kelsey, which you can't say about Linderbaum. I'm not saying he is Jason Kelsey, but you have an all-pro center. They go top 5, top 10 of he's going to be an all-pro. And even if you think there's just a chance, which is what Linderbaum is, a lot of people have him as a top 15 center, a top 15 player in this draft. So he falls because of the value of center, or at least what teams may think of center. But he's a certain fit, but he fits what the Bengals like. So that's the certain fit thing doesn't matter for this team.
Right, exactly. Grizzled Wizards is asking here, so the Bengals could really use a guy like Taquan Thompson or Thornton, in the first. Is that a good idea? I don't know the guy. Do you know who he's talking about?
I don't know. Quick Google says he's a wide receiver, so I'm going to go with no.
There you go. All right, let's go with this. Another a new comment here from Miz, I guess. Mike, what do you think about trading Jonah Williams? Could save salary and free up spot for Isaiah Prince to start. Went toe to toe with Von Miller in the Super Bowl. Is this a serious question? This got to be a joke, right?
Yeah, I mean, no.
Yeah, no.
Maybe.
Go ahead.
To entertain the thought, if Charles Cross falls to 31 and then somebody gets hurt, you stash him, and somebody gets hurt and he plays as well as Jonah Williams, then sure, trade him. But don't. No, this is like a 0.0001% chance of happening. And no, I think you roll with Jonah Williams for the future.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, is they got to figure out this year if they're going to pick up that fifth-year option on Jonah. And I'm a big Jonah Williams fan. I mean, I think I think you got to really look at this. Last year was his first full year in the NFL. I mean, his rookie year, he was hurt the whole time. The second year, he didn't make it the whole season, though. Last year was his first full year. And it's kind of like the same way with Jackpot Joey Burrow. He's not rehabbing an injury this year. Jonah's just getting to chill out and relax and concentrate on getting better this year. Same thing with Joe Burrow. They get to just relax. They don't have to rehab. So that right there, I think, is going to make a difference in helping both of them get better here in the future. Now, let's see here. Let's Go Mountaineer says, do you think we could trade Tyler Boyd for draft capital? Yeah, we could. I don't think we should, though. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, I wouldn't. Eventually, you'll get to the point where you probably can't pay him, T, and Chase all together. So I don't know. That's why you scout wide receivers and say Olave falls. All these scenarios.
Hot take James in the house. Olave is going to be 31.
I'm not. Linderbaum's not there, and your corners get taken, and this is why Olave falls. Maybe nobody else likes him, and he's your best receiver. Yeah, take him, and if you could trade Tyler Boyd for draft capital this year, or you just play Olave sparingly this year, trade Boyd next year, sure. But for what I think is going to happen in the draft, no, you don't trade Tyler Boyd.
Now, this is an interesting one here. If I get back up to the comment, Grizzled Wizard, he said, what about drafting someone like Matt Corrales and making the Detroit Lions trade for him? I don't think the Lions would trade for him. I mean, put it this way, and I love Desmond Ridder, but other than Pickett is, I don't think there's a quarterback out there like people are like, oh my God, I gotta have him. I think Desmond Ridder could be a good quarterback, but I don't know. What's your thoughts there?
The Lions pick next. Why wouldn't they just trade up or take him?
Right.
If they really like Corral, they take him at 2. If they didn't, if they don't love Corral but they like him, they'll take him at 32. But they're not making any serious moves to move up from 32 to get him. So you're not going to get anything.
Like I said, I don't know if there is a quarterback in this draft that's maybe Pickett, maybe I say there might be 2, Pickett and Walsh. Maybe could be potential franchise quarterback, but there's no Joe Burrow in this draft. That's why I don't see people trading up to get these quarterbacks. Like last year it was a heavy quarterback draft, And I was of the mindset that there might be a chance that Penei Sewell and Jamar Chase might both be sitting there for the Bengals, because I thought people would go up and I thought Atlanta should have drafted a quarterback, to be honest. I've seen this last year. If you watch any of my shows from last year, and they went and drafted Kyle Pitts, and I said there's a good chance they draft a quarterback. I bet you they wish they did now since they traded Matty Ice. But there isn't that they're good quarterbacks, but they're not outstanding. They could turn into ones, but I don't know. What's your thought on the quarterback class coming out right now?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see Kenny Pickett as much more than a bridge quarterback in the NFL. And Willis has the superstar potential. I think he could be amazing. He's got a great deep ball. He's super athletic. He's just not ready to start. And that's the one that would scare me if you went to the Steelers, though, because you ride with Trubisky for a year and then maybe he's ready to go. And I actually think he could be good, and Ritter could be good too. But none of these guys are guys that you, in most years, would be a first-round guy. They're second-round guys that you would take and hope to develop.
Right. Yeah. I think they all have the potential of being good, but they're not like, you're plug and play any of them. I don't think so anyway. Now you said earlier, as we're off the air, you write for allbengals.com, excuse me. And we've talked ad nauseum about 31, and you're like, I can't write any more articles about 31. So you got a couple different articles about certain players coming up. Which ones you got coming out here soon?
So I just did one on Jelani Woods, who a lot of fans love, as he tested as the most athletic tight end pound for pound. What's up? As the most athletic tight end pound for pound in draft history, at least recent draft history. So I did an article on him. The too long, don't want to read it, is he doesn't look like that when he plays, but hopefully he could eventually. And then Friday, I'll have an article on Greg Dulcich coming out. That's my favorite tight end. I think you could take him as early as 63 when they pick in round 2, or you could take him, if he falls, to 95 in round 3. And then Monday, I'll be doing an article on Logan Hall. So that's another guy. That's one of the guys that at 31, which I guess I still can do 31 articles. If everybody's gone, is this guy okay to take there? And read Monday to find out.
Sounds good. I'm sorry, I'm cracking up at this other comment here from MZXX, the same one who asked us that weird one before. He says, Joe Burrow seems to have developed an ego already. Should the Bengals move on before he turns out to be the next Antonio Brown? Draft the hometown hero, Cincinnati quarterback Desmond Ritter. No. No. I just no. Now we got from Alexis here. This is do you think there's any positions that the Bengals wouldn't draft? Yeah. QB.
Yeah, we just looked at it. Quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think they're going to draft that. All right, here you go. Vackery. Bengals could definitely get on early one for Jesse Bates and get a cheaper replacement in Daxton Hill.
I don't think you can get an early one for Jesse Bates. I think they'd trade him for that if they could. If early one means like a top 10 pick, I don't think you'll get that for just him. Maybe you could trade your pick and him for a top 10 pick, but then the only reason you could do that is for Kyle Hamilton, right? You're not going to do that for Daxton Hill. Daxton Hill, you just take a 31 if he's there. If you think he's the replacement, you wait till next year. The team's ready to compete now. I don't really vibe with the idea of just trading superstars and stars for draft picks. That's a move you make if you're not a good team. This team just went to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I had a couple people ask me that about Jesse Bates, and that if the Bengals might trade for him or trade him away and get a number one. I was like, I don't know if you could get a number one for him, because he's just, he had a great playoff run. The season, it wasn't up to Jesse Bates' standard, and the contract was an issue. And unfortunately, we're going to run into the same thing again this year. So I'm hoping that he plays more like playoff Bates did, and instead of regular season Bates. But Ben Baby was on here earlier today, and we were talking about that exact same thing. And Jesse Bates, there's a chance that he could get franchise tagged 2 years in a row. I don't know if I think I could see them franchise. I know that he's going to play the franchise tag out this year. Well, they can't come to a contract agreement next year. I could totally see them tagging him and trading him and trying to get something out of him next year.
Yeah, I think that's a next year move. You want to try to run it back this year with better talent and see if you can get back to that Super Bowl and win it. And then you can start worrying about Jesse Bates next year. And if you tag him, you could just trade him immediately because you're not going to tag him a third time. You're so far apart in negotiations that you're never getting this long-term deal done. Tag and trade right away. Worst comes to worst, he leaves and you probably get a third round comp pick. So no matter what, they'll probably be compensated for Jesse Bates. But if it was me and you wanted to trade him, you let him play this year. Even if you draft a safety at 31, they play enough 3 safety sets that you could play that safety early on. And then you trade him next year.
Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting thing moving forward. See how this negotiation goes. And I've kind of said this a couple times on here that I think the his agent isn't doing right by him. I think he's trying to get, which I'm never going to be against any football player getting as much money as you can. I'm not against that at all. I just don't know if Jesse Bates is going to get as much money as his agent is telling him he can. I just don't know because, like we just said, if he's that good, then a team would trade a number 1 pick for him, and they just don't do that for safeties. It's not that type of a position. And if you, like Ben Baby said earlier today, if you have your front 4 going, your cornerbacks going, your safety should be there just for to plug the holes. It shouldn't be a dominant position as such.
I think whatever you have, if an elite talent, there's always value in keeping him. So I don't know if I agree if it's just plugging holes. Where Jesse Bates is probably a big reason why. Jesse Bates is probably a big reason why the cornerbacks that keep coming here keep having career seasons. Chidobe Awuzie has his best season of his career. Eli Apple is no longer bad, and I think a lot of this is that they have an awesome safety behind them.
Exactly. And that's a good point too. And maybe I'm downplaying the effectiveness of Jesse Bates, which I'm not trying to. I just the Bengals don't pay safeties. That's more of the issue in their history. They just don't pay safeties, but they never paid guards either. Which the funny thing is they're getting props for getting to a guard in the center, but they really didn't overpay for them. Sands. They really paid them market value, and that's one thing that they've been very smart about with their contracts here and they have to moving forward because we want them this window to be as wide open as long as we can. And I think the contracts they've negotiated have been very, very smart ones for the Bengals.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they like to find value in these guys, and that's why they're not going for the Brandon Scherfs, and they go for an Alex Kappa and Lyle Collins. He was a value instead of getting, my guy, Teron Armstead, who I thought, he was a value where he went, but getting Collins for half the price is probably even better value. But hey, who knows? I like what they did in free agency. I thought they got a lot of value.
Exactly. All right, Sam's been on for about 37 minutes. I appreciate you. Tell everybody where they can follow you. And you already talk about your articles, but you're on Locked On, you're on All Bengals. Whatever else you want to plug, go for it.
Yeah, you can catch me on Locked On Bengals just about once a week, definitely once a week, maybe even more going forward in the next couple of weeks, just because of the draft. And then check out my articles on All Bengals, and you can find all of this because I promote just about all of it on Twitter at Bengals_Sands.
Sounds good, Sands. As always, I appreciate you, man. Who day?
Who day?
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Sands is a great follow on Twitter. He does a lot of good film study and everything, so check him out. And check him out on All Bengals and check him out on Locked On Bengals. Now, I kind of want to get into this a little bit with the Phil Castellini comments yesterday on opening day. And it was happening. I didn't hear about it till the game started, and I didn't totally understand what they were talking about. But basically, he said, we're the owners, take it or leave it. We can move the team. I don't understand what he was thinking. I mean, you have a fan base that's already irritated because it started in 2020. You went and spent all this money in 2020 and got a World Series contending team. And I'm sorry there was a pandemic. You didn't lose any money. You're not in the red. If you started losing money, you would have sold the team. Then you had 19, where you had a team who you didn't add anything to, but they fought their asses off, and they were in the playoff hunt all the way till about August. And you finally traded for some bullpen help, which is the biggest hole they had all season. But by then, it was too late. Then you roll into this year and you don't even talk to Nick Castellanos' agent. You trade Jesse Winker. You trade Eugenio Suarez. You trade Sonny Gray. You trade Tucker Barnhart. And you replace them with younger minor league players. We have seen this story before over and over and over again. So where we're trading away our stars for quote unquote younger players who are going to develop into superstars. And I have yet to see it. That's the problem. And then when fans are upset and pissed off, you come at them and you blame them, or not blame them, just say, we own a team. You want to watch baseball, you got to come here. Really? Then I won't go. I mean, you actually made Mike Brown seem like a really good owner, and I don't mean that as a bad statement. Let's be honest. Mike Brown has had his flaws here in the past 20, 30 years of owning the Cincinnati Bengals, but he has changed. Katie Blackburn, Elizabeth Blackburn came in and they have listened to what the fans want. All the fans need to hear is we want to know, we want a winning team, and we want to know that you care. That statement that you said yesterday is just a big middle finger to the fan base saying, I don't care. I own the team. It's my team. It's my dad's team, our family's team. You want to watch Major League Baseball? You got to come here. And it doesn't matter what I do. I'm going to make money anyway, which is true. Because baseball teams don't lose money. They don't fall in the red. I don't care. I'm so tired of hearing about these small market teams aren't making any money. They don't make as much money as the Dodgers. They don't make as much money as the Yankees. They don't, but they're not losing any money. It's irritating. And then for you to come out on opening day of all day, you ruined opening day of all days when it's a citywide holiday. First time in 3 years we've had a semi-normal opening day, which I still don't consider it normal because it wasn't actually the first game of the season. So the semi-normal one next year, hopefully it'll be an actual normal one. And you come out and you do that? Like Lance McAllister is calling for you to step down. I think you should. The Castellinis do not own the majority of the Cincinnati Reds. They were voted as to be the figureheads or whatever of that group. They can be voted out. The other shareholders could buy more of the shares and become the majority owner. I don't know, but this isn't the Bengals. When everybody kept going at the Bengals and the Browns family saying Mike Brown's got to step down and Mike Brown's got to sell a team and all stuff, and I kept saying that's never happening. This is their family business. This is their business. This is their money. This is everything. They're not selling the team. Mike Brown is not stepping down. Luckily, Katie Blackburn and Elizabeth and everybody else in there has finally gotten him to change his ways and let them kind of take over. Castellini's, they're the banana man, the banana people. They have money from that. This is their fun money, I guess. It's being able to own a baseball team. Well, if you want to own a baseball team in Cincinnati, Ohio, we want a winning baseball team. We want you to act like you care about us, and you coming out and basically saying you don't care is what you said. And then you expect us to come out there and give us our hard-earned money to go watch your team? Really? Get out of here. It's kind of like Ben Baby said, you want change, stop going to the games. And I think there's lots of Reds fans that are going to do that. Hey, the Bengals forever, were terrible. Finally, we had enough people to stop going to games, and Mike Brown changed, and he went and hired outside and hired Marvin Lewis, and things began to change. And we had the Marvin Lewis years. Yes, we didn't win a playoff game, but they were much better than the decade of the 90s. Things happen again. People are getting restless. We wanted a Ring of Honor. We wanted them to have an indoor practice facility. We wanted a change in head coaching philosophy, a change in the philosophy of the way they ran the team, a change of going out and getting free agents. They made the change when they hired Zach Taylor, and they're listening to him. They have Duke Tobin. They brought Duke Tobin in as a quote-unquote player personnel rep, but we all know he's basically the GM. They made changes. The Reds made changes to the stadium. All kinds of changes to the stadium. There's always new foods, new things that are there to do. They got microbrews. They got all kinds of cool stuff there, things for your kids to do. But the team stinks. And Bob Castellini, when he bought the team, said, I'm bringing championship baseball back to Cincinnati. He fired Dusty Baker, said, I'm tired of losing. I don't want to lose anymore. Where'd that guy go? And then his son goes on the radio and basically says, take it or leave it. We could move, which he can't move. I think they got like a 50-year lease with the city of Cincinnati. So that was just and then he doubled down on it. He doubled down on it. And the two-sentence apology. Are you serious? Like, what's going on here? You think you can just talk to us and expect us to go, oh, here, take my money. Here, please take my money. I want to go watch a crappy baseball team. No, you don't do that. Very frustrating. Anyway, I had to get my little 2-cent rant off there. Let's get to the Facebook group so let me live stream. And as always, I appreciate every single one of you. They are Who Dey Nation, Who Dey Legion, Cincinnati Reds, Rounding Third, heading from Bearcat Ruckus, Bearcat Country, the Ohio State Bucknuts, the Ice Cave, and the Ice Bar. And you can follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Twitter handle is at Jeff A. Trunable. TikTok is at Iceman90. I'll be pulling out a sound later on tonight, putting it on the podcast. Please make sure you rate, like, and review. It'll be on BeanPod, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Stitcher Play, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Leave a comment so more Cincinnati fans can find my podcast. I would greatly appreciate it. Like I said, YouTube, you guys are awesome. I'm at 1,570. That is unbelievable jump that I've made in the past week here. I'm trying to put out more content for you guys. I'm trying to do a little more short videos so you don't have to sit here and watch me for an hour. You can just watch a short 5-minute video, or I'm putting some shorts out there too. They're about 15 seconds. Check those out. I'm posting stuff up on the channel all the time. Different links, different stuff, different guides. So check out the channel. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. And shout out to, I wish I could remember who it was. But I know BJ Hill, tweeted out saying, hey, what's good, Who Dey Nation? And this is right before I was about to do the interview with Ben Baby. And I tweeted back, I said, nothing, just chilling here, get ready to record an episode of my show. Would you ever be interested to get on? Because I'm always asking Bengals players if they're ever interested to get on, because I don't know how else to do it. I can't get their emails. Well, somebody who follows me, and I apologize because I cannot remember who it was. And this is a great idea. So how cool would it be to get BJ Hill and Jermaine Pratt on your show? Because if you ever watch or ever follow BJ Hill and Jermaine Pratt on Twitter, they are hilarious. So, BJ Hill, Jermaine Pratt, if you guys are interested, I would absolutely love for you guys to come on the show. Like I said, it'd be your show. We just call it the BJ Jermaine hour, half hour, 20-minute. I don't care. Whatever you guys can come on, I would appreciate it. So, check it out. And other than that, I'll see you. Actually, I won't see you guys tomorrow. I take the bet. Tomorrow is my birthday. So I'm taking the day off tomorrow. As far as the live show goes, I'll probably post some stuff up on the channel and I'll do some short little videos or something. But as far as the live show goes tomorrow, I will not be on. Oh, Joe, you want to know about the Strawberry Ice swag? This right, I got it on. And I got t-shirts too. The website, if I could check it all out, make sure it's all good, I will launch it tonight and I'll tweet out the website and everything. If you guys are interested, I would appreciate it. I had the products on there as cheap as I can get them. I might make $1 on each on each one. So if that. So I got them on there as cheap as I can. So hopefully you guys can enjoy them and wear them out and tell everybody about Strawberry Ice. And let's get those likes up and get those subscriptions up. Basically, if you're watching the show, I got 21 people watch the show. I got one thumbs up. Come on. Hit those likes, people. Hit those subscriptions. Oh, you don't care about the price, Joe? Oh, hell, for you, buddy, I'll give it to you. I'll sell it to you for $50. Totally kidding. I appreciate it, Joe. I appreciate that, though. But like I said, I'll get that out there. So, like I said, no show tomorrow, no live show tomorrow. Friday, I got a couple big episodes. I'm recording an episode with Annie Sabo, who is the daughter of my boy, Chris Sabo, my favorite player of all time. That is, it's Pete Rose. It's Chris Sabo, then it's Pete Rose for me. I love Sabo. So I'm recording an episode with her. And then I got my boys from Cincinnati. Ace and Zim are going to be on Friday. We're going to be talking about their new podcast and everything that they got going on. So, like I said, no live show tomorrow. But like I said, check out the channel. I'm always putting stuff up on there. And other than that, that's just sports, baby. See ya!
Let's go. Stripes, 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 stripes. Yeah. Stripes, stripes, stripes. Yeah. Stripes, stripes, stripes. Yeah. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast disobey, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, then we ignite in stripes. Cincinnati, we gon' rise in in the jungle, we unite in dripping orange and black and white. All day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Wake up the beast, every day is a feast. Time to bust it off the leash. In the jungle, dripping heat. Tiger stripe the city streets. East side, stand up. West side, stand up. If you rapping, who that? Time to put your hands up. Bingo stripes, we in it. New day, new age, yeah, we get it. Cincinnati jungle fitted. Who they in our house, we win it. Orange and black and white, we build it. Earn our stripes, you know we kill it. Bleed our colors, jungle dripping. Nasty, natty, yeah, we lit it. Lit the crowd, get the city loud. Yeah, we feasting now. Fit the pounds, make the city howl. Now we beasting now. Thunder through the tunnel, from the sideline to the huddle. Stripes we tatted on the jungle when we flex that who they muscle on them. Stripes, Cincinnati, we gon' rise in in the jungle, we unite in dripping orange and black and white.